Hi everyone! I had a pretty intense week this week. Not only was I responding to the subtle racism that I experienced in the local shopping mall, I was doing it in a creative way. On top of that, I was also bringing along board some family members in the fight of the racism outcomes of COVID-19. But this week has been pretty intense in a sense that I've been seeing a lot of news, not only across the world, but also locally here in Australia, that there was a story of two Asian sisters that were locally attacked by being spat on and physically abused by some locals and called all sorts of racist names. And got me really thinking. I was pretty pissed off, so I thought, what if we start to create some sort of conversation around this topic, this subject matter. So after this video, there will be some footage of the actual incident as well as the interview that I did online with the two sisters who will share with you a little bit more in depth about what went down. Check it out.
Witnesses filmed the encounter, which quickly escalated to physical violence when one of the alleged victims was spat at.
She had pretty good aim. It hit my eye like that, just straight in my left eye, got into my hair, my cheek, everything, and I was like flabbergasted when it happened.
It was really horrifying. Like, I really, really wanted to retaliate. I really wanted to hit back. It took everything in me not to.
Police are investigating the attack, gathering statements at the scene this morning. Outraged members of the public have also recognised the alleged culprits and have given their names to authorities. Unfortunately, this is not the first spitting or coughing attack to be caught on camera.
Hi guys, thank you so much for taking the time to being interviewed about your experience that happened.
Yeah.
And I have to admit, when I was watching the video, I was pretty damn enraged, and I, at the same time I had a similar experience, but at the same time, when you're stunned, you're like,
100%, yeah,
for real, like, did that just happen to me? Like, what did I do? So can I get you guys to just kind of give us a bit of a summary, and especially for our audiences to know what went down, because I think this is pretty much the first like racist attack that happened in Australia as well. So can you sort of do a retelling of that?
Yeah, sure. So Sophie and I, we were walking in Marrickville on our way to get milk tea, and we were stopped at the light for the crossing because it was still red. And these two girls, they were being a little bit loud, like they were walking behind us, like towards us. They were being a little bit loud, so I looked over at them just because they were being loud. Not in like a way that was like, stop talking or anything. Just literally looked over because they caught my attention, then looked away. Then they walked past us. And I remember one of the girls, I think it was a girl with the brown hair actually, the friend that was like filming. I'm sure it was both of them that were saying it, but I think she instigated it first. She was just saying stuff like, stay away from them and keep your distance because they've got the coronavirus. That obviously like enraged us. Like we were really, really pissed off because I'm sure you can understand like this happens quite often, maybe not in Australia, not so much, but definitely overseas. And not even about coronavirus, but like other things. Racism against Asians has always been a thing, but not many people have spoken about it in mainstream media, which I guess that's what we wanted. Yeah. So anyway, they were just saying all those things, and I was just so angry in the moment. So I was like, excuse me, like, what did you just say? Say it again. And at that point, they were like halfway across the pedestrian. They turned around. The girl in the grey, she like charged towards us.
Yeah.
And yelling. And that's when I started filming the video. I don't know if you've seen the video.
Yes, we did.
Yeah. That's when I started filming it. And she was saying things like, oh, like, you dumb Asian dog, you dumb Asian slut, things like that.
Things like, it's your fault, your people brought this here. Yeah. And we were like, our people, who's our people? Who's our people? Like tell me who's our people.
Yeah.
And it was just really frustrating because we wanted to, like, people in like some of the comments I've been receiving, they're saying things like, but how did this start? There's no context. Like, did you record just when she started getting angry? But it's like, well, yeah, but we
Like, I wasn't going to start recording for no reason when nothing had happened yet. Do you know what I mean? Like, I only started recording like, oh my gosh, like they're coming towards me. Like, I'm going to record it.
Yeah.
Proof, because I knew that something would, like, I could show this to someone and like spread more awareness about it. So yeah, a lot of people think that we like provoked them or like we started it, but they started it with their comments.
And then we responded.
And that's when she got aggressive. So it wasn't like out of nowhere, I just like started recording this person that was coming towards me. Like, they started the rude comments first, the racist remarks first, then we replied. That's when they got aggressive. So she got aggressive. She tried to kick me. You can see in one of the videos from the people across the apartment. Luckily, Sophie was like sort of shielding me, pushed me away from her, so she didn't end up kicking me. And then she walked away, still yelling all of those dumb things. Then she came back around a minute later. And at that point, she had taken off her hoodie that was like tied around her waist. And she also like had her bag like off her. So she was ready to fight me and stuff. And I was like, I'm not here for this. I'm not going to fight you. And I was honestly like scared at that point, because the first time that she came towards us, she like said she had a knife on her.
Oh, gee.
She was like, a knife on me. So at that point I was like scared. I was like, okay.
Yeah,
like,
maybe we should.
And also I wasn't trying to get close to her. Like, I was still trying to practice social distancing.
Yes.
You know how the 1.5 meter rule. Like, I wasn't trying to get close to her, but she was trying to get close to me. So I was like trying to back up away from her. One, because I was honestly scared. I was. But two, I was trying not to like be close to her because I don't know what she has. You know. You can't be with anyone. Like, it's literally a rule right now that isn't in the same household as you.
Yeah.
I do find your situation is a unique one because you actually have video proof. I'm just also wondering how many people out there who, under, you know, with what's happening with coronavirus and all these racist attacks, how many of those that have happened that have had no outcome? You know what I mean? So what you've done there with the video recording and uploading it, sharing it, you're now generating a conversation for others to also connect with as well and say, yes, this is wrong. And if other people out there see it, then they can put a stop to it. Because I saw there was a man in that video. Was there?
Yeah.
He was the one that intervened. And that at that point he came in, was like, stop to the girls. And then that's when the girl turned around and she like spat in my face. And it got in my eye. Yeah. And that's like the real kicker, I guess, is like, it doesn't matter what color you are. Like, don't spit at people. What color eye. Like, you don't spit at people. Like, that's actually like, it's disgusting.
It's probably like regarded as one of the most like disgusting things you could do to somebody.
And especially now, like, spitting in this climate especially is like horrible. And it is the most like inhumane thing you can do. It's disgusting. Like an animal.
So for you, after that incident, what was your next step? Like, I'm sure you would have been pretty shocked. Did you call the police? Did you?
So, do you want to say it?
Sure.
Yeah.
So immediately after, we flushed out my sister's eye with the man's water bottle, the one who came and intervened. So I was really lucky. He had a water bottle on him. Rosa asked straight away, "Can I please borrow your water? I need to flush my eye out." We flushed it out on the spot just to get rid of like whatever we could.
Whatever her spit was like had in it.
Yeah. And then there was actually a woman from a podiatrist watching the whole thing from her shop front. And she came out afterwards and said, you know, I have CCTV footage of it if you need it. Which was like, we were lucky because we didn't think anyone else was recording it.
We thought that no one was recording it and the only footage was like what was on my phone.
Yeah,
which doesn't show
much.
Yeah.
So immediately after we walked across the road, and a father and his daughter were recording us from their apartment, and that's how we got the footage.
Yeah.
They came down and they said to us, "Hey, we got that on video. Would you like us to give that to you so you can give it to the police?" And we were like, "Yes, please. Like, that would be great." And it's really good too, because as soon as we took it to the police station, we were able to show them the footage, and they were like, "This is a no-brainer. If it was used in a court, it would be. It's self-explanatory what happened."
Yeah, the video speaks for itself.
Exactly. And then, so the first step was just we took my sister to a doctor. The local doctor we go to was literally on that same road, so we were really lucky. just walked in and she got a few blood tests for not coronavirus, not for COVID, but for HIV and Hep C, Hep B. Yeah. And
Now,
then,
now for you, when you were spat on and then like the process of going to the doctor to get checked, like was there a lot of fear going through? Were you like a bit worried as well?
Hysterically crying off. I wasn't crying during the video or like during like them like encountering me. I started bawling my eyes out like right after they had left, and I was in front of the podiatrist flushing my eye. I just burst. I was crying because I was overwhelmed with emotion. I wasn't particularly like sad or even scared. I was angry, and when I'm angry, like I just turn into like I don't even know what I am. Like I just couldn't help but cry. I angry cried. And I was crying walking down the street into the doctor's office, and I couldn't even explain to the receptionist there what happened. Like I had to ask Sophie, please talk to her because I'm literally crying right now and I can't even like
get words out.
Exactly. So luckily Sophie was like, dude, like my sister just got spit on.
It was a very strange scenario.
It was really, really strange, but I didn't even care. I was just like, dude, I just need to get tested.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, I wasn't able to get tested because I didn't fit like the criteria. But I actually ended up getting tested today.
Yeah.
I was able to get tested today at another place. And I'm just waiting for the results now, and I'm like self-quarantining, like not going outside and stuff for now. But
now for you, do you think that there's going to be like more of this kind of incidents happening, especially with what's happening with the climate? I'm just also thinking from the girl's perspective, maybe she's gone through some sort of psychological mental stress. Like it for me, when I looked at the video, she just looked like she just had to project it on somebody, and you guys were just walking along and boom, it exploded, you know? Yeah, which is pretty.
And although like it's no excuse for what she did, I do understand that. I tried to think like, okay, maybe there's something that happened to her personally that made her like, you know, create this narrative in her head that this is okay, and that this doing this is beneficial somehow, which I'm sure like anyone with like 2 brain cells can figure out that it's not okay. But I understand that not everyone's the same and not everyone's wired the same. So yeah, potentially something was happening in her life that, you know, might have caused her to do this. And I always think that hurt people.
Yeah.
So maybe something happened to her, and I'm really sorry if something did happen to her in the past to make her feel this way towards people in general, not even just Asian people, maybe people in general. But I think it reflects something that's a lot more intrinsic and a bit deeper than just surface level hate towards
like
a particular
like
race.
A response to something we said.
Yeah.
I think it's much deeper than that. Which is why even now posting it to social media was just a means of, you know, getting her ID'd, because
we needed
went
to get ID'd,
yeah, we went to the police and they said, well, all we can do now is hopefully find out her name. And we just thought, well, someone in this area has to know her.
Yeah.
So I just thought, you know what, I'll just give it a go and put it out there and see if anyone responds. And like within hours, we found the names of both girls.
Yeah. So many people messaged us being like, oh my gosh, I think I know her. Like, and
So,
we didn't like publicize, like we did not want to like tell everyone.
We're trying to keep it under wraps, her name, because she's
for her own safety.
She's also a minor.
Yeah.
So it's actually illegal to have her name out there and broadcasted. So
when I saw the news, I think you said something that it was so hard for you to not like fight back, because originally it's so easy to get a punch on, right? But when you said that, you really, really inspired me, because I'm a martial artist. But when I heard that, I'm like, holy crap!
I actually need some. I'm not even joking.
But I was really, really like moved, you know. And I think because everyone's always like, oh, if someone hits you, you hit them back. But when you said that, and you said it so strong and so firm, there was something quite powerful in that. Like, and it was very mature for both of you to actually deal with the situation the way you did. You know, and I'm actually glad that you were together. And I know that now there's that law that you can only go outside with only 2 people. And I'm just thinking, if it gets down to 1 person, what happens if there's other people? How would you be able to, you know, respond to that? But it was good that there's 2 people and you're able to. And not only that, you had a community of people watching. Even though it's a quiet street or whatever, there are people out there who are still supportive, and they were able to find these two girls. And not only that, you're probably going to start a movement in Australia of other people talking about
I hope
these
so.
things. I think so.
It has to be, yeah. And it doesn't even like, I think people fail to realize that it's not even just because of this virus that caused it. This has been going on for ages. You know, stereotyping, general racism, casual racism. This has been going on for ages. People make jokes about Asian people all the time. Okay, and like I can take a joke, but it's racism and like it's a bit dicey. You know, it's a bit of a fine line between like comedy and
actual
like discrimination.
yeah.
But yeah, it's not just the virus, and I think that's what we wanted as well with the video. One, to get them ID'd, and two,
To just spread the awareness. Yeah.
It's not, we need to start a conversation about this. It's not being spoken about enough. It's not being taken seriously as well, like as much as it should be.
Yeah. Now I've got one question from Therese Chen from a Facebook collective called Silver Harvest, and she's asked, how, like, it must have been difficult to have not retaliated. How did you do it, and what do you say to others who end up in a similar scenario?
I'll go first. I'll go.
Hey Therese. So, I guess because, I mean, I didn't retaliate for the reason of I was in the presence of my sister. I knew it would be wise to just not, you know, stoop to her level, because she was obviously, you know, I don't want, like, maybe she was unhinged, but it just seemed to me that she was not fully there when she was trying to start the fight. So I knew that if I tried to hit back or I did something, she might do something to my sister. And like my main priority at the time was to get my sister to safety. So if I engaged in like combat with her, then who knows what she would have used against me. You know, I had more to lose. And my advice to you is, if you're ever in the situation, and I really hope that no one ever is, that, you know, you need to try and not, you know, stoop to that level, because sometimes violence doesn't solve
It really doesn't solve anything. Like, you might think like, oh my gosh, I'm so angry.
Yeah, if I got a hit in, if I got one shot in, it may have like made me feel better in the moment, but I feel like afterward I wouldn't have gotten, you know, it wouldn't have brought me anything.
Yeah.
And I just had a lot more to lose. So yeah. I think speak up, definitely speak up. That's what we did, and that's why it all started. Speak up for yourself and don't be scared, but also know when it's right to fight, because you need to be safe first. Like, that's your main priority.
You can choose your
stay
battles.
alive. You know? No one needs to get hurt. You know, you can always call the police on the spot too. Yeah. That's something we didn't do, but it was really only because at first she kept fleeting off and then coming back, and then we just didn't know when it would end. So no one picked up the phone to call the police just yet, because I was like, maybe I can diffuse the situation.
And also, like, if I was honestly like stunned, like I was afraid, like I mentioned before, especially when she mentioned that she had a knife on her, I was like, okay, like I'm not about to get stabbed out here. I just wanted her to leave. So we continually like asked her, like, okay, can I please, like, go away, leave, we're going our separate way, you go your separate way, like let's this is done. I didn't pick up my phone to call the police because I was scared that anything that I would do would just provoke her and provoke more aggression out of her, to be quite like honest. Like, that's why I didn't run away either. I didn't run away or try to walk away from her, because in my head I was thinking, if I move, she's just gonna like jump me. So I was scared. That's why I was so like shocked. I don't know if you notice in the video, there's some point where I'm just completely like still and I'm not even moving that much. I'm just trying to back away a bit from her. Obviously in my head, I was going like crazy. I was so angry, but like, it's almost something that happens when something like damaging or traumatic is happening to you. Your body just freezes. It's like a fight or flight sort of thing.
That's right.
And I think a lot of people fail to realize that when you're in the moment yourself, you don't know what to do and you can't react that quickly. It's very hard to.
But all I want to say is thank you so much for sharing you know, your experiences, you know, and that I feel like, you know, through this also process, you as sisters are probably bonded much more closer as well. But not only that, you've probably allowed the community, the Asian Australian community, the Asian community worldwide, to also reflect on these experiences and to also bond. So I do wish you the best, and then keep on sharing your story with the rest of the world and with other people as well. So anyhow, thank you so much for that. Okay, guys?